Third grade Unit 5 is a continuation of fractions from Unit 4, but now we're really focusing on equivalent fractions. And students start by building from the concrete. One of the things that's really interesting is you can teach a kid to do this, multiply the top and bottom by the same number or divide the top and bottom by the same number. And then if you say, okay, so which is bigger, 2/4 or 1/2? They will almost always say 2/4 because the number is bigger. So even though you're teaching them that it's equal, they still don't really get that it's equal. So we spend a lot of time just like stacking fraction tiles on top of each other. And we're going to have to get creative with that if we're distance learning, but we need to just experience equality. And when we go to pictures, then we stop talking about them taking up the same amount of space and we say that they have the same area. So you can see how this is really connecting back to something that is already a major theme of third grade in the area multiplication space. So first we stack tiles. We're not worried so much about this math happening in the middle. We're setting them equal to each other because we can see visually that they're equal. And then after a while, when we move to pictorial, we start to actually take a piece, cut it. Like, I'm going to cut this one into 2. I'm going to cut this one into 2. I'm going to cut this one into 2. That means I have twice as many shaded and in the denominator. So first we're just noticing that they're stacked. And then we're doing a lot of cutting and equating this to cutting pieces and talking about how these things with two numbers that are really different could still take up the same area. Like, how is that possible that 2 would take up the same amount as 1? 2 is more. Talking about how the pieces get smaller. Equivalent fractions are so much more than this just multiplying and dividing by the same number inside. And thank goodness we have standards that really push us to have to write about it so that we teach the so much more part. I'm really grateful for that the bar is so high. But sometimes it will feel like we're making it way more complicated than you learned as a kid. I'll be honest about that. So then we also have to do this with number lines. And so you're really just compounding the complications because there's everything we learned about fractions, and number lines feel really abstract to kids. And so we have to make those concrete as well by really thinking about, this being the new fraction bar and drawing that in and that kind of thing and cutting that just like we would have cut back here. So that's the unit. Students are introduced to two-step word problems during this unit as well. And that's because they will have gotten enough time to really practice one-step word problems kind of over the course of the year, interspersed throughout, and then we're ready to kind of take it to the next level. Two-step word problems is its own standard. And then just every standard in this unit, as I mentioned, requires written explanation.